And Paris, we also had some exciting gymnastics happening right here. Dual meet between
We did.
Towson and LIU on Saturday. Recap that for us.
You know, Christina, it was an absolute dogfight out here. I mean, these girls came out and they competed for the third week in a row. LIU broke their season high, just narrowly missing that 196 mark. And today, with the addition of Bridgeport and Brown, it's going to be another dogfight in this quad meet. So again, we are excited for some huge gymnastics today, and I just can't wait to see all the action.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting. You know, when we talked to Randy Lane before these meets, he said having Towson here was going to be really good for his team. It was going to push them because they're at the top of the Eagle. And sure enough, you saw that result. They really stepped up to the plate. There you're looking at Towson. They are starting on bars. Bars is a lights out event for Towson. Top 10 team in the country on bars. Really clean single bar release work and really nice attention to detail and toe point throughout those rotations. Paris, talk to us about Brown. What can we expect to see from Brown this afternoon?
You know, I love a good artistic in gymnastics, and that is what Brown is all about. They have a great variety of their gymnasts. They have beautiful gymnasts, led by Maya Brown, who is one of my favorite Brown gymnasts with beautiful artistic abilities. So again, they're going to be very good. They start on being a really strong event for the program, and they're just going to look to come out here, be consistent, and do what they do here in competition as they do in the team practice.
Great, thank you so much. Getting a look there on Brown warming up. Got a chance to talk to the coaching staff before the meet. Said that they felt like Beam was a really good place for Brown to start. One of those things that some teams really like it, kind of get it out of the way, get those meet jitters out. Other teams prefer maybe not to start there. And Sam, what are your impressions of LIU? How is this Olympic order for them?
Absolutely. So on Saturday night, LIU did amazing starting in this Olympic order. They really started lights out on vault, counting no scores below 9-7. And I hope that LIU can do the same this afternoon. They had, as you said, that program high of close to 196 score. And I think that vault is a really great place for them to get started.
Absolutely. And then we've got Bridgeport starting on floor. Bridgeport coming off not their season best on Saturday. They competed at William & Mary, really struggled on bars particularly. So they're coming out of a dual meet weekend as well. Some pressure on them. They're starting on a really great event for them though, which is floor. They're a really artistic team. They've got beautiful choreography, really highlighted by, we're going to see Kira Ross in the lineup. She is a choreographer in her own right, choreographed her routine this year, and she debuted new choreography on Saturday to the soundtrack of Ocean's 8. And when I got a chance to talk to Lorraine Gallo, head coach of Bridgeport, she said she's actually going to work with Kira next year to do all of the floor routines because her choreography is so exceptional. I know that's something you're looking forward to.
Amazing. Yeah, so excited. As a former dancer, I love to see the athletes that are able to put in that special extra choreography work.
Yeah, and taking a look here, we are inside that touch warm-up period. And taking a look at some of that bar work I was talking about with Towson. You know, one of the things we're really going to be looking for on bars, Towson has been, they didn't quite hit that 196 mark on just shy of it, 195.95, if I'm not mistaken. Really like getting into those mid 196 numbers, really making that push. Towson qualified for regionals last year as a team, but had to compete in that first round meet. When I talked to Jay Ramirez, he said, you know, for the first couple seasons, it was really all about just getting to postseason. And now they really feel like they're a contender. They don't want to have to compete in that first round meet. They're trying to fight their way out of that.
Absolutely. And one of the things that was really impressive to me about Towson on Saturday here at LIU was not only their bars, but also their beams. So in the next rotation, I think you have a lot to look forward to with Towson's very interesting, difficult skills on beam, several front tosses and a standing front tuck.
And Paris, one of the other things we saw on Saturday was the debut of Sid Morris in the all-around, in their all-around debut. What were your impressions of them on Saturday night?
You know, to be a freshman, first and foremost, and to be starting off, that is not an easy thing to do. I know how it feels as a former Ohio State gymnast, so the fact that they're able to really have that maturity in their gymnastics, that is big. And, I mean, they are going to be huge in this competition today. So I'm excited to see they on their events. And again, it's just going to be some big gymnastics that we're going to see. So I'm excited. I'm pumped.
And speaking of big gymnastics, we did see Sid warm up their tucked full on beam. We're probably not going to see it in competition. Talk to Randy Lane about that a little bit at the during the warm-up period. Said, you know, just because they are competing all around, they've got a lot going. They're really trying to push those team scores up, but something that we might see later in the season. So I love when we get those big skills in college gymnastics like that.
You know, I know we're in the middle of the season, but again, sometimes you need those little big upgrades in order to stay in contention for the championship. So
Absolutely. And as we get started here in the first rotation, I want to highlight for everybody that the LIU gymnastics team has chosen 4 women that they're going to dedicate each rotation to, and 1 to dedicate the end of the meet to. So this rotation is dedicated to Ruth Bader Ginsburg, whose life's work was the fight for gender equality. As a member of the United States Supreme Court, she was famous for her forceful, dissenting opinions around cases for women's rights and beyond.
Thanks so much for sharing that, Sam. And we are going to be bringing you as much live action as possible here. And looks like we're about to get started with Sid Morris on vault. And all of the events getting set here. And we've got Catherine Alcon starting on floor for Bridgeport. A little chest down on that, Rudy. Nice front double full there.
And we just saw Sid Morris on vault, and they did a great Yurchenko full. And here we've got our quad box up, so you can now see all of our athletes.
For Brown on the balance beam, we do have Lauren Kramer, who's getting things underway for Brown.
Wow, great last pass there.
And we've got Alana Ricketts for LIU getting set for her vault.
And Lauren Bolin getting things started, Lauren Keener getting things started there for Towson on bars.
And she fights to stay on the beam. It is not easy to start on the balance beam, especially in this loud, crowded quad meet today. But Lauren Kramer of Brown is doing a phenomenal job staying focused. Beautiful dismount from Lauren. Almost stuck.
Yeah, I like those punch front twisting dismounts on beam. It's a rare moment where we've got a little pause here in this chaos of a quad meet. Cassidy Stewart up next for Lauren Green up next for Towson on bars. Getting a look at Alexis Richardson there on floor for Bridgeport.
And here we have Alana Ricketts for LIU doing her full, a little bit of a pike down and a small hop, but a really nice strong vault for her that's gotten stronger over her time in this program.
Yeah, it really gets nice rise off the table. Looks like we're just having a little bit slow start to the judging.
Absolutely, and I just want to bring you all to your attention to the fact that Sid Morris has scored a 9.875 on vault, and that is an LIU program record for their first event of the afternoon.
You know, the impact that they are already having in their inaugural season at LIU is so impressive.
Yeah, truly unbelievable to see how they're able to come into this program and really just raise the level.
And Alexis Richardson here on floor.
And we have Lauren Miller from LIU vaulting. And she does her Yurchenko full a little off center and has to take that step to the side, but nice rise on the vault.
Beautiful bar work there for Lauren Green of Towson. Step on the dismount, but really nice routine. Nice double pike there from Richardson.
And getting things underway for Brown on the balance beam will be Lauren McEwen. She did have a bit of a wait, but she has now mounted the beam and she's ready to rock this routine.
And this is Julia Bedminster saluting on vault for LIU. She'll also do a Yurchenko layout full.
And big 1.5 twist to punch front there to end for Alexis Richardson. Nice start through Bridgeport on floor.
And a great full for Julia, a really strong landing, just maybe even a small slide. She's really drilling this vault again after she did on Saturday.
Small wobble from Lauren on the balance beam, but again, the beam is only 4 inches wide, and the start on that event of this poppy is not an easy thing to do. Lauren is attacking so far.
And you like to see that fight from
Absolutely.
these athletes.
Another fight right there. She knows the importance of staying on in this competition.
I liked the hitch kick there. Nice leg amplitude. You oftentimes don't see those gymnasts getting the hitch kick up past their hips.
And a beautiful dismount from Lauren. Great fight to the finish.
Grace Valancourt here for Towson. She's such a treat. Check this out. Pretty Jaeger. Legs absolutely glued together.
And Grace was one of my athletes to watch on Saturday, and she's just doing an amazing routine here.
Look how she floats this double layout. Oh,
Beautiful.
textbook.
So gorgeous.
Career high 995 on that event.
And here we have Katie Koopman saluting for LIU on vault. On Saturday, she debuted the first 10.0 start value vault in LIU history. The tucked Yurchenko 1.5, and here we'll see it again. And she has a little low on the landing and has to step across. Not as good a landing as she had on Saturday, but a really strong vault and just a step forward for this program to have that 10.0 start value vault.
Absolutely. And, you know, it takes a couple of tries out to kind of get those upgrades feeling good. And so it's nice that they're getting them out before they're moving towards postseason.
For sure, and really exciting to see that she's a senior, and in her last season, she's debuting that new vault.
Yeah, love to see athletes continue to grow in college gymnastics. Kieran Ross, this is such a wonderful performance. Just overcooks that double pipe.
And here we have Amanda Liu saluting for her vault. She'll be the anchor for LIU tonight.
This control
We did not see Amanda on Saturday, so here we see her in the anchor position. And she does a tucked Yurchenko full, a little bit of bent arms on the table, but she gets a really nice landing on that vault. Good to see her back in the lineup.
And there you have Maya Brown from Brown on the balance beam. This is the gymnast that I talked about earlier with exceptional lines, beautiful artistic abilities, setting up for her adversaries. Oh, and she just falls off a little off center of the adversaries.
Steph Makasu getting started here for Towson. Big Ray. You can see what I'm talking about with the single bar release work from Towson. Just really pretty nice amplitude.
Maya is doing a phenomenal job fighting in this routine. She did have that fall, but nonetheless, everything after is absolutely beautiful, including that dismount. Beautiful pike ganger.
Yeah, just, you know, too bad about the fall, but some really lovely qualities in that beam routine.
And it's important to finish strong because you never know if that routine, even with a fall, might have to count towards the team score.
Absolutely. Same with Kieran Ross. I've seen her be a little bit cleaner on some of those landings, but I hope our viewers were able to appreciate the difficult dance she had in there. Double turn, don't see that very often in NCAA gymnastics. Really nice level of presentation that really should be the gold standard across NCAA gymnastics.
You know, it's truly a pleasure to watch performers, you know.
Absolutely.
There's gymnasts, there are dancers, and then there are performers. And we have some in this competition, and she is definitely one of them.
And while we're in our little pause here, I will say, just get on my soapbox briefly, only 3/10 of the floor score dedicated to artistry. I think that should be higher. The clue is in the name. It's artistic gymnastics. So that's my call to the technical committee. I think it should be a bigger part of the floor score.
Hey, I agree.
Can't disagree with that.
You know, growing up, Svetlana Hodkina was my favorite gymnast. So, I mean, if that doesn't, you know, if that's not the definition of artistic gymnastics, I don't know what is.
And we're actually going to see Kieran Ross do a Hodkina on bars later. So you just teed that up perfectly.
I sure did. There you see on the balance beam is Marcus, who will be getting things underway for Brown.
And just in this break, I want to let you know that LIU actually scored over a 49 on vault for the very first time in this rotation.
Oh, wonderful. Minervini here on bars for Towson, freshman phenom. Has gotten Eagle Rookie of the Week a couple of times this season. Oh gosh, another beautiful double layout for Towson. You can see why they're one of the top bar teams in the country. Abigail Kenny here for Bridgeport.
You see Marcus having a bit of a weight on the balance beam. It is not an easy thing to do when you have to wait like this. So this surely will be a test to see how she responds.
Nicely controlled 2.5 there to open. Little low chest on landing of that Rudy.
And here's Marcus getting things underway on the balance beam. And a beautiful adversaries. Marcus fighting to stay on the beam.
Nicely controlled 1.5 to front pike there.
Very difficult front tuck that we've seen just now from Brown on the beam. But it's not an easy skill to do.
Absolutely not. And I hope folks are appreciating, you know, in this dual box, we've got a Division II team and an Ivy League team. don't have the scholarships that we see from these other Eagle teams, but the quality of gymnastics is so lovely.
And it's there. It is there. Here's that big dismount. Oh, and she just hops on that back 1.5, but nonetheless, that is the routine that Brown needed after that fall from Maya. So again, they are picking up the pace and getting things really underway in this competition.
Amanda Petticelli here for Towson. Big Ray. Just a labor backswing on that, but nice in the air. Oh, and yeah, just was struggling. You know, I said she had a labor backswing on the catch of that Ray and just didn't quite get the momentum that she needed. Double front, low landing, but, you know, nice fight through that routine.
Yeah, she really saved that low landing by able to stay on her feet.
Clara Hong, a staple of the Towson lineup, tweaked her ankle over the weekend, and so Jay Ramirez and coaching staff playing it safe, and she will not be in the lineup today, but really solid rotation there from Towson nonetheless.
You know, I've got to say, side note, I'm loving this music that LIU has playing in the background. Girl, I am jamming over here.
There you go. It's a party.
Up next, you can see on the left side of your screens, Abby Cantello for Brown.
And bars and vault are finished here, so just beam and floor ongoing. Olivia Imbarlina here for Bridgeport on floor.
Let's see if Abby can continue another strong ring routine. Excuse me, that Marcus just put up. And a beautiful Abby series.
Really nice stretch through that back handspring layout step out.
Very beautiful on this event. You know, I love it when gymnasts take their time, especially on the balance. One of the most important fundamentals of this event. Making sure you don't rush your movements, but to go through each and every skill just like that one right there.
Yeah, you can tell she's a very patient beam worker. And Imbarlina getting set here. 9-7 for Abigail Kenny, their highest score so far on floor.
A great dismount from Abby for Brown on the balance beam. The Bears are pumped for that routine, and they should be. Skying in that jump, Christina, wasn't she?
Bridgeport, as I mentioned, is such a fun team to watch on the floor. Oh. Too bad, just did not get the punch that she needed coming out of that 1.5 to get that front layout around, but
Just a little too short. Yeah.
some nice dance in that routine as well, and Bridgeport has some really strong routines so far. They do still have one more counting routine, so pressure will be on for Lola Sepulveda in that anchor spot for Bridgeport.
That score from Abby on beam was big. It was a 9.850. Wow. Here we have Angela Zing. Let's see if she can continue that big momentum for Brown on the balance beam. Ooh, and a beautiful layout.
We
2
love a
feet.
layout to 2 feet. So difficult.
Very difficult. You don't see it often,
No.
especially in college gymnastics. Small wobble. Looks like she's breaking that connection. She does repeat it, and another big layout step out. Another small wobble, but again, that is very difficult.
Yeah, so challenging. Love to see that variety in college gymnastics.
She's definitely a risk taker. High jumps, beautiful amplitude.
And you saw she repeated that beat jump into the layout step out. That's because that's how the gymnasts build their bonus in order to start from that 10.0.
Oh, and she just falls on that double twist. That was such a good routine.
So pretty on the beam.
Just too low on that landing, unable to keep it on her feet.
Lola Sepulveda here for Bridgeport.
And it looked like she may have stepped out there.
Yeah, I did see a hand go up there. So 10th neutral deduction, difficult. 2.5 to punch front combo. A little out of control there on that jump out of the Rudy, but nice in the air.
Yeah, I'm honestly impressed that she kept that landing as well as she did, with how far forward she really was on that jump, but such a strong performance from her.
And really important, though she did go out of bounds on that 2.5 to punch front, did manage to, they're going to be able to drop that fall that they had earlier in the rotation. And we will have one exhibition from Bridgeport on floor. Margaret Coyle will be up next.
Speaking of exhibitions, Jessica Lynn for Brown will be exhibition on the balance beam. For those that are a little unaware of what an exhibition is, that is when a gymnast will compete on an event, but their score won't count towards that team total. So more than anything, it's just really about giving that gymnast that competition feel, giving them that experience, so when they do have to compete in lineup and the score counts, they know how the pressure feels.
Absolutely.
Here's Jessica from Brown getting things underway in this exhibition routine.
I'm not sure if she was going for a straddle quarter there, or if she wanted to twist it
Looked
more.
as if she almost just second guessed herself and unfortunately came off the beam.
Yeah. Super solid.
Beautiful
layout,
accuracy.
though.
You know, the balance beam is that event where sometimes you just need that repetition. The more you can practice on the event, the more you can fail and be comfortable.
And it's interesting, sometimes you see some of the best gymnastics happen after a fall because they kind of know, I got the, you know, I've already fallen, so, you know, what's the worst that can happen?
Right. And sometimes you have to go into that routine with that mindset. I've done this a bunch of times in the gym. I know how to put down a good routine. Nothing bad can happen.
Harris, you were a much better gymnast than I was, so you probably were more successful at that than I was in my career. Oh, gosh. Goes for that just did not quite get the set. And by set, what I mean is there's a moniker in gymnastics, flip then twist. We want to see the gymnast rise before they start twisting. She twisted a little early off the beam, I think, and just couldn't quite get that around.
Yeah, she did. Nonetheless, she has that experience now, so she can move forward and hopefully exhibition another good routine.
We can bring you some unofficial scores. Towson LIU, we talked about that they tied on Saturday night, currently tied 49.075 each. Brown at a 48.2, Bridgeport 47.75.
I love the choreography and the story routine.
Agree.
And I really thought that she had that. She was really fighting with her quads, trying to stay on their feet, but she just had to sit down that front tuck.
And remember, Bridgeport coming off that double meet weekend, they had a meet on Saturday at William and Mary. So endurance, if it's going to show up one place, I think it's going to show up on floor. But nonetheless, like really just great performance quality across the board from Bridgeport. And Coyle there, you know, some form errors in the routine, but great for her to get that routine out there. As you said, Paris, get that competitive experience. So that is all of the gymnastics for the first rotation. Let me turn to my co-commentators. First of all, Sam, what are your impressions of LIU on vault?
Absolutely. LIU had another great vault performance today and another program record. Most important for me was to see Sid Morris come out again and basically stick that Yurchenko full for that 9.875, another high score for them, and another setting the stage for a great rotation for LIU.
Yeah. And Paris, what about Brown overall? How do you think that momentum for them on beam is going to carry on to floor?
You know, floor is a much easier event to compete. You know, they're not starting off, but they are building the momentum, and I believe that they can definitely do that. They did score in the 48 range on the balance beam, and so they can definitely move to floor and just really have some fun.
Yeah, agree. You know, Bridgeport, I've seen them a little bit cleaner on some of those floor landings, did end up having to count an out of bounds. So not quite at their season high, but still some really nice work in there that they can be really proud of. I think for Towson, again, you know, they can be a little cleaner on some of those landings. Did not have Clara Hong in the lineup, who is pretty much an automatic 9-9 at this point. But nonetheless, it's very solid 49 start. As remember, 49 per event, that's pacing on a 196. So those teams that are trying to contend, make it to regionals, that's really what you want to be pacing at or above. So we're going to take a quick break here and come back for the second rotation. You're watching College Gymnastics on ESPN+. Of Long Island University. I'm Christina Chauvenet, joined by Sam Marshall, Paris McGee Jr. We've seen some great gymnastics so far. Moving into that second rotation, LIU will be on bars, Bridgeport will be on vault, Brown will be on floor, Towson moves to beam. You're seeing Sid Morris there warm up for LIU on bars. Sam, they made their competitive debut in the all-around on Saturday. What were your impressions? Added bars was the last event they added. What were your impressions of their performance on Saturday?
Just incredibly impressive to come out and score over a 39.2 in the all-around in their debut performance. After talking to Coach Randy Lane, he said that, with Sid, it was making sure that they had, the confidence and the routine that made them feel ready to go in on bars. And he said that if they had that routine and they had that confidence, he thought they could go 9.85 in their first routine, and they certainly did. So really excited to see them again on bars and in the all around.
And of course, Mara Titar-Soli there, always on 10 watch for her. Paris Brown moves to floor, did have to count a fall on beam, but have some really exciting floor workers. Who are you looking forward to seeing on floor?
I talked about Maya Davis on the beam. This is where she really shows off on the flexercise. But again, this team is so good. I'm honestly looking forward to watching everyone. Last weekend, they scored a season high of a 48.950. So hopefully they can repeat that today and really show off some good routines that I know they can compete.
Absolutely. Towson moves to beam has not been their most consistent event this season, but do have some really high potential scoring routines in there. Bridgeport moves to vault. One of the exciting things about Bridgeport on vault, they have some different style vaults. We're going to see some of those front entry vaults. We're going to see a front handspring, front half. Going to see a full on tuck off. So getting some more variety in the lineup, which is always fun because vault in NCAA is the event that you typically see the least variety.
With a 48.2, Brown. In fourth place with a 47.75, Bridgeport.
And again, we talked about LIU and Towson tying over the weekend. They are currently tied right now, both at a 49.075. So this competition is going to be a close one for those two teams.
Absolutely. And remember, we're moving into the phase of the season where teams are going to transition to national qualifying score. That is the score that they will use to qualify for regional. So as a reminder, the algorithm works like this. Top 3 away scores, then your next 3 highest scores, whether they are home or away. You take away the top of those 6 scores, you average the remaining 5. That is your NQS. What that ends up meaning is that you're counting less than half of your season meets for your qualification to postseason. So lots of opportunity for some of these teams that had a little bit of a slower start to pick up a good road score. Again, you can count up to 3 home scores, particularly for these teams that are visiting. It's a good opportunity for them to get an NQS as we move into the later portion of the season.
Our second rotation.
And looks like we are about to get started here on vault. We've got Savannah Lindley starting off for Bridgeport on vault.
First up on floor for Brown, Ella Paul.
And Lauren Bolin will get things started for Towson on beam.
We'll have Jalea Bedminster get things started for LIU on bars.
And on the flexor side, we're going to have Ella Polly for Brown.
Nice Ruchenko layout there.
And Julia Bedminster getting started there on bars, a really nice Maloney. A good bail to handstand, good position there.
Little low on that front toss. Hangs on to it.
And she almost gets the stick on that double layout, just has to take that step forward. Needed to be a slight bit more patient on that.
Really nice back handspring gainer full there to get Towson started on bars. Up next, we'll have Abigail Kenny on vault for Bridgeport.
And Kira Sanchez is getting set to go for LIU.
And on the floor, the music just started for Ella, so she is getting things underway in this fun routine. You know, I actually had a teammate, former teammate at Ohio State, who had this floor music.
Oh, fun.
So
I love it.
Hey, it's going to be a big one. I can see it now.
And there's one of those the front with a half, 9-9 start value. Really cool to see.
And speaking of great floor performers, actually, the LIU is dedicating this rotation to Allie Raisman, who is the captain of both the 2012 and 2016 U.S. Women's Olympic Gymnastics teams. But she's an instrumental voice in the fight for against sexual abuse, and famously declaring that I have both power and voice, and I'm only beginning to just use them.
Such a wonderful person on and off the mat.
A strong finish. She stays in bound. That double tuck. A great first routine for Brown on the floor exercise.
And Kira Sanchez getting started here for LIU. A nice pack salto there.
Cassidy Stewart on beam for Towson. Kieran Ross on vault for Bridgeport.
Just a little short on that handstand there. And very low on that double layout, but she's able to stay on her feet and step forward, really fights for that landing, making sure she doesn't have to take that fall deduction.
Super confident landing on that back handspring layout step out for Stewart. Nice connection on that front toss to beat jump. Lola Sepulveda here for Bridgeport on vault. Step back on that landing, but overall another really nice routine. The accuracy was that back handspring layout step out was the highlight for me. And Kieran Ross does that full-on tuck off. Little insider info for all the gym nerds out there. I recently found out that although we know it as the full on, technically you only have to get rotated 3/4 of the way onto the table in order to not receive deduction. So that is just I think traditionally we look for those athletes to get them all the way around, but as it is written in the code, 3/4 of the way around or more, you're getting away without a deduction.
That's so interesting. And here we have Lauren Miller getting started for LIU on bars with that nice handstand.
On the floor exercise for Brown, we have Umi El Muman.
And Lauren was just a bit short on that handstand, but I really like this clear hip work that she does. Another little short handstand.
Umi does step out of bounds on that pass. I saw her do it in warm-up. She kind of struggled to keep it in then.
Sepulveda looks like got the green light on vault after a wait. Same for Lauren Keener on beam for Towson. Nice Yurchenko full. Highest start value we've seen so far from Bridgeport. That's a 9.95 start.
And we see Ilka Juk getting started here, getting ready for her routine here for LIU. And she has some really lovely toe point and line, so keep your eye out for that.
A great routine from Umi. She did step out of bounds in that first pass, but nonetheless, she recovered very well to finish strong.
Absolutely. And the judges' conference on beam. This is a tricky position because she's been waiting for quite a long time. Another nice Gurchenko full from Jordan Street there for Bridgeport. Such a powerful gymnast.
And Ilka getting started here on bars. See those nice long lines in her handstands. Some pretty big left separation on that pack salto as she goes down to the low bar.
Keener underway here for Towson on beam.
And a little form loss there for Ilka on that full pirouette on the high bar before her dismount. She tends to lose her legs a little bit there, but she is able to get the dismount.
Nice correction there in that back handspring layout step out. Clean connection and that switch split to tuck 3/4. A lot of fight in this beam routine. A couple times she's been pretty far off with her hips, but has managed to make the correction and minimize the deduction. A nice stretch in that split 3/4 as well. One of those athletes doing the standing gainer full, nails it. And there's another one of those front with the halves that we were talking about. That was Joanna Chambers on vault for Bridgeport.
And I must say, that was an improvement from warm-ups because she did struggle in warm-ups, but she did a phenomenal job putting it down there. Heading back over on the floor exercise, we have Sophia Dewar from Brown, who just put down a huge, amazing first pass.
And we're getting set for Sid Morris on bars again for LIU. We may be taking a little time. It seems that there is a judging conference as well on bars now. So Sid will, you can see Sid chalking up and getting ready to wait it out a little bit.
I tell you this, Brown, they are having fun on the floor. That was a beautiful pass from Sophia. Love her choreography. I love it when gymnasts are really just able to have fun with their routine. You know, you're dancing to music. I didn't get that privilege, so you better shake something and have fun out there like she is. I love it. And a great performance from Sophia as she just laughs off a huge, huge routine. So good for Brown.
Grace Valancourt getting started here for Towson on beam.
And she was one of the athletes that I was really excited to see on Saturday as well. She does a standing front tuck.
Yeah, this is so cool. Check this out.
Whoa.
Bam! Into the beat jump.
Wow.
Nails it.
Yeah, she really has such lovely qualities. Really a precise gymnast.
I wonder if I could do that.
Oh gosh, and I think we jinxed her there.
I know I couldn't, Karis.
Yeah. Just pretty far off in her hips and that back handspring layout step out, so difficult to correct at that point. All wrapped up here on vault for Bridgeport, and that difficult series, the 2 switch splits in a row, don't see that very often.
She does it so well.
Yeah, really takes a lot of power to get that second switch up.
Yes, the extension, the toe point.
And here Sid Morris is getting started on bars. A really great piked Jaeger. And the pack salto, a little bit of leg separation, but a really strong position. Nice handstand and pirouette there.
On the floor exercise, you have Maya Davis. This would be a beautiful routine to watch.
And a double lay from Sid Morris and a little hop back. Another great performance for them on bars.
I love Maya's music choice for this routine. Huge double pike to open the book.
Great control in that double pike as well.
And Maya has a dance background as well. We heard from their coach that she helped to choreograph this routine, and that she is just such a dancer through and through, and I love seeing that on the floor.
Beautiful leap jump series. Again, everyone in this arena, all eyes are on Maya, and she's performing this full routine. Beautiful second pass.
And we'll be going from one beauty to another as Mara Titarsoli is getting ready to get started on bars.
You know, I wonder if I can borrow this floor routine. You know, I know I'm retired, but I don't know. I think I got a couple more moves in me.
Really beautiful.
Jenna Wheats getting set to go for Towson here, and she's a trickster on beam, really powerful athlete.
And that was a gorgeous routine from Maya. By far the best, beautiful, most artistic routine that I have seen today in competition so far.
Yeah, agree, Paris. You don't really see that style in floor routines in NCAA very often, and I really enjoyed her commitment to artistic expression and on her stretch through all her dance
You know,
elements.
it's just a breath of fresh air. It really is.
And here comes Mara on bars. Another beautiful handstand, and that great connection on her release moves, really straight in those positions. A good pirouette there.
And see if she can stick this dismount. Just barely stuck it over the weekend. Oh, and
she gets it. She tried to hold on to that dismount as much as she could. Maybe we call that a bit of a college stick right into the salute. But wow, is she just so gorgeous on bars. And she has been so on all season. She has not scored below a 9.9 yet this season.
Look at that difficult combination from Jenna Wheats. Switch split to the layout step out to the split jump. So hard to connect those three elements. And you can see what I'm talking about just with her power. Doing her aerial to beat, jump there, really secure. Leg up check on that. That'll be about 2 tenths.
This is some very, very fun music that we have coming from Brown.
Stuck dismount for Jenna Wheats. Good for her, turning that momentum around for Towson.
And while Mara was the anchor for LIU, LIU will have an exhibition routine from freshman Kayla Toniolo, and she will be showing her performance here on bars.
Caroline Van Zandt for Brown on floor. She was absolutely nailing it. You can see her coach in the background dancing with her, cheering, encouraging her on this routine.
And here comes Kayla. That nice Tkachev skill. A little short on that handstand, but she's really fighting through it. Good bail of the handstand there. Wish there had been a little bit more control.
And a strong finish from Caroline. A beautiful double pike.
That drills that double pike.
Absolutely drills it.
And at the same time, Kayla was landing that double layout to her feet. So not only did LIU show 6 routines during the rotation without any falls, but they were able to put a 7th routine in this week.
Yeah, really nice for that LIU team to show a bit more depth. Of course, only in the 3rd year of their program. So really, when we talked to Coach Randy Lane, he said, you know, this is the first season that we really had depth on every event. And really exciting for them. Sarah Giroux getting started here for Towson on beam. Important routine here for Towson because they did have a fall earlier in the rotation. So as you mentioned, Sam, LIU getting 6 hits out of their gymnasts on bars. So if Towson wants to keep pace with LIU, they are going to have a hit here from Sarah Jerome. Hangs on to that triple series handspring layout step out. That back handspring layout step out gets an additional 2/10 bonus compared to the back handspring layout step out that you very commonly see in NCAA gymnastics.
Getting things started on floor for Brown is Julia Bedell.
And get ready, because she is a powerhouse. It's going to open with this huge full in. Nice dismount for Towson.
And I mean, this giant is.
Wow.
It's so much height in that pass.
Nice dismount for Giroux. Really important routine for Towson. We'll have one exhibition for Towson on beam.
So far, so good for Brown on floor. A great finish.
So powerful.
Beautiful double tuck. I don't know. I think the Bears might surpass their season high so far. A strong finish from Julia on floor.
And she tied the program record for Brown, 9.925, tied it with an athlete that you might have heard of before, Alicia Sacramone Quinn, who set that back when I was in college. You know, she's so powerful. Got a chance to talk to Brittany Harris, the head coach of Brown. You see her there about how they worked preseason on that upgrade to the full in, making sure that she was comfortable with it, that she could fit that in endurance-wise, and absolutely no problem. Even her combination pass, that front through to double back, you don't see that as a closing pass very often in NCAA.
No, an extremely difficult and beautiful routine.
Isabella Minervini here on beam for Towson in exhibition. Minervini primarily recruited as a bars specialist, but when I talked to Coach Jay Ramirez, or primarily recruited for bars, I should say, but when I talked to Coach Jay Ramirez, said she's such a hard worker in the gym, wanted to keep adding events, so we'll see her on floor in the scoring lineup, but working her way into beam as well. Again, Eagle Rookie of the Week a couple of times already this season. And just too far off on that back handspring layout step out.
And as the final score for Brown on floor comes in, they smash their season high. They just recorded 49.125, so that is huge for Brown. Just narrowly missing their all-time program high in that event.
We'd love to see it. Well deserved.
Here's an exhibition routine from McKenna. Wiener for Brown. Her score won't count towards the team's total, but again, she's out here getting that competition.
And too bad for Minervini, but some nice qualities elsewhere in that routine apart from the fall.
Was a little too loose in that bounding skill. Has a little stumble at the end. It's so important to stay tight, especially in these combination passes.
Yeah.
Certainly weren't my favorite as a gymnast, but you know.
And as you say, the thing with the combination passes, and we see the same thing on beam, we just saw that with the back handspring layout step out, that when you're doing those elements in sequence, that second or third element really affects the way you set up for that third element. So when you're off on the setup for that, it's just wonky, gets difficult to save.
Absolutely.
Quick score check for you, unofficial scores coming in here. We have Towson gets a 49-125 on beam. Really clutch performance there, the back end of that Towson lineup, not having to count a fall. That's a 98-2 total, so on pace for a mid-196. LIU 48-8 on bars. That brings their team total to 97-875. Brown, as you mentioned, Paris smashes their previous season high, 49-125. Really capped off by that tremendous performance by Julia Bedell. They're at a 9.7325. Bridgeport on vault, 48.375. They are at a 96.125, which that is a pace that would hit them at their season high as well. So lots of exciting gymnastics to come here in the next rotation. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be back for the third rotation at this LIU quad meet here on ESPN+. Welcome back to the Pratt Recreation Center on the campus of Long Island University, here for a quad meet on this President's Day afternoon. We have had some tremendous gymnastics so far. Towson leading the way, 98-2. LIU on their heels, 97-875. Brown, 97-325. Bridgeport, 96-125. Remember that the records in gymnastics do not matter towards national qualifying score, so really every team is trying to get a score to improve that NQS as they move towards postseason. And also a reminder that both Bridgeport and Brown, though they are eligible for NCAA postseason qualification, they are also eligible for what's called USAG Nationals. Those are the national championships for Ivy League teams and Division II teams that do not have the full scholarships available to Division I schools. So really exciting opportunity for those teams to make it to a postseason national championship, and something that when we talk to the coaching staff, both of those coaches were really aiming towards. So coming into the third rotation, we have LIU will be on beam, Towson will be on floor, Bridgeport will be on bars, and Brown will be on vault. Sam, tell us about the dedication for the next event that LIU has done.
Absolutely. So as you have heard, LIU has put forward a woman to recognize for each rotation for this Women's Empowerment and My Body, My Choice meet. For the third rotation, they are honoring Representative Patsy Mink. Representing Hawaii, Patsy Mink was the first woman of color elected to the U.S. Congress. She is recognized as the major author and sponsor of Title IX, which she wrote in part as a response to the adversities she faced as a woman during her own education experience. The Title IX law led to significant protections for women in schools and universities, including giving women athletes the right to equal opportunity in sports. After Congresswoman Mink's death, the Title IX law was renamed the Patsy T. Mink Equal Opportunity in Education Act. So today, in this meet for Women's Empowerment and My Body, My Choice, we honor Patsy Mink and Title IX as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sam. And one of the things, speaking of women's empowerment, Paris, you were on the call yesterday at a historic dual meet between William and Marion Fisk. First dual meet between two black women of head coaches. How special was that?
That was so special because it was so many first. Fisk is the first HBCU to have an NCAA Masters program. They got coached by the first black woman to ever win an individual NCAA all-around title. So it was just an amazing experience, and just to be under history, just to be able to live that history, it was definitely something, I'd always remember.
And you were also on the mic with another person who's going to be making history.
Absolutely, Asia Sims Fletcher, who will be the second head coach ever of an HBCU program, and she was an outstanding gymnast for Alabama, two-time SEC champion. So again, just so much history, in one competition. It was amazing.
Absolutely. And I got a chance to talk to Brittany Harris about that before the meet. Brittany Harris, head coach of Brown, of course, and talked about how, as a black woman, seeing these other black women head coaches that had come before her. She mentioned Umi Celine Beasley. She mentioned Kelsey Hinton at William & Mary. Of course, Brittany Harris, very new in her head coaching career at Brown, but really talked about how those women were really trailblazers for her and was excited to be part of this new generation of head coaches.
Absolutely. Growing up, it was a representation that I didn't have, that I didn't see. So for other black young gymnasts to see this, it is monumental. It truly is.
Absolutely, and thrilled to have you on the mic as well. So much fun. We're getting set here. You saw some of the last of the touch warm-ups there. Sam, what can we expect from LIU moving to beam?
Absolutely. So one of the most exciting things is that we will be seeing Mara Tatashvili on beam this week. She did a beam routine a few weeks ago and had a low score, and she'll be going in again after we saw a great exhibition from her on Saturday. So really excited to see her in this rotation.
And the first walk from Brown came from Ella Polly, who had already got things underway. She performed the Rodchenko laid out full, a little short of that landing, but nonetheless, she landed on her feet, and the team will definitely need to build off that.
Abigail Kenny getting started here for Bridgeport on bars.
And Sid Morris getting ready to mount beam for LIU.
Love this dismount. Just a little short, but I love those toe-on style dismounts. Polina Belanovsky first up for Towson on floor.
And that beautiful switch leap to pike jump for Sid Morris on beam. And a tiny little adjustment on that series, but Sid really keeps it as straight as they can. And that side semi skill, so hard and so well done.
Here is Umi El Muman on vault for Brown, and a beautiful Rodchenko full. Small hop on that landing, but they are pumped for that moving ball.
Front double pull there on board. Got that all the way around.
And that double full dismount for Sid Morris, just a small foot movement. Another great routine for them to start off that LIU Sharks rotation.
Rarely see that punch front to Rudy. Little chest down on landing.
I particularly like to watch Towson head coach Jay Ramirez while they're on floor. He gets so into these routines and screaming for his athletes.
One of the most animated coaches in NCAA gymnastics.
Screaming to cheering to whistling. Oh, I love it.
I did ask him, I said I wanted to make sure his Achilles was okay after all those hard landings he takes after he does jumps up and down.
That was a beautiful vault from Angela Zing on for Brown.
And Alana Ricketts getting started here for LIU on beam. She's waiting to mount the beam, and we see a high score for Sid Morris. It looks like it's a 9.9, a career high.
And I have to say that number feels a little high for me. They did have some balance checks in that routine, but solid start nonetheless.
I would agree with that, yes, Christina.
And Kieran Ross getting set here on bars for Bridgeport. Long delay here on bars. Probably a start value issue.
Angela scored a 9.7750 for that ball. that we just saw. So again, Brown, they are picking up the pace this event. Here is Sophia Dubern. And that was huge.
Drills that landing. Kieran Ross underway here for. There's that Horkina. Nicely done.
Sophia absolutely nailed that ball. That was so beautiful.
And then fortunately, Alana Ricketts just comes off on that series. I thought she had it, but she just couldn't fight to stay on at the end of that landing.
Grace Valancourt for Towson here on bars.
And that round-off double tuck is huge. You just get so much height. It's not easy to do a double flipping skill, ladies and gentlemen, from a round-off, but she does it so beautifully. It's so amazing.
And Alana's really fighting through this routine, trying to maximize every 10th, just in case her team may need to count this score.
You can see Brown's head coach having a little dance party to Towson's floor music.
Bridgeport team very excited about Kieran Ross's dismount.
And I've got to say, Towson, they look so good on floor. Yeah, that's a beautiful pass.
Really powerful gymnasts in this floor lineup.
Here we have Abby Cantello on vault for Brown, getting ready to perform.
Gorgeous twisting form in that Rudy. You know, we talked to a couple of the other athletes about having low shoulders, not quite getting that rotation around. No problem for Grace Valancourt another day in the office. Great to see her come back from that beat fall.
And that's going to score really well. That was a good routine.
Absolutely. Talia Polino getting set here to go on beam for LIU. You see Coach Olivia Courtney giving her a bit of a pep talk, maybe telling her to stay focused and not to think about her teammates' fall, just to get up there and do her job as she does in the gym every day.
And that was a huge vault from Abby for Brown.
Love the difficulty we're seeing in this Brown lineup. That's something that can really set them apart from the other USAG teams, getting those 9.95 start values in those Marchenko fulls.
Absolutely. I mean, and every girl that just comes up just hammers, you know, or your Marchenko full.
They've been looking great. Nice a block off that table. Really good. Paige Casper set to go next for Towson on floor.
And here comes Talia Folino on beam for LIU.
Little throwback, she is a pack rim champion on beam from her time on the Australian national team.
Here we have on ball Julia Bedell closing things out for Brown. And a beautiful Marchenko full. She even flares it out in the air.
Yeah.
That's how much amplitude and height she gets off the table.
You can see some of that same power that she has on floor on vault.
Absolutely. And Talia gets started with that front aerial to that split jump. Really solid, strong.
Lola Sepulveda on bars for Bridgeport here.
And just another fall for LIU on beam. Talia comes off on her series as well. Now she really needs to fight through this routine because they need to maximize their scoring potential on those routines with falls.
Nice bar routine, Sepulveda there.
And a little over rotation on that full turn for Talia. With a great 1.5 dismount with a hop forward. I know she's not going to be happy with that performance, but the individual skills were really beautiful and something to keep in.
And that repairs Jessica Lenford Brown, a great exhibition ball. Marchenko laid out.
And Jay Ramirez fired up, taking some more of those hard landings as he jumps up and down. Huge power for Paige Casper on floor. Just absolutely drilled her double salto elements there.
And Kale Bixler will be the next athlete for LIU, and she really needs to just focus, settle in, and remember what she does every day in the gym. Going after 2 falls cannot be easy, but she has performed very well in this event this year, and she's definitely up for the challenge.
Challenging setting for Bridgeport on bars because these bar scores have been taking quite some time and can really kind of interrupt the rhythm when you're ready to go on an event and have to wait for those judges' conferences.
And Kale Bixler getting started here on beam for the Sharks.
Carmela Calafita on the floor.
And a beautiful series for Kale.
She was rock solid on that acro series.
Olivia Imbarlina here for Bridgeport on bars.
And the cat leap to that side aerial, perfect.
Couple of form breaks on that bar routine from Imbarlina, but really fought through a nice dismount.
And a little bit of a chest forward. Oh, and she takes another little wobble, but just keeps her feet straight on the beam. Nice full turn for Kale. And a great 1.5 dismount, just almost a little hop in place. That was such a good routine to get the Sharks back on track. The only major error I saw was that landing of the jump and the chest forward.
An unusual Rudy to lay out there. I like that rebounding skill. Great job for Carmen Calapita there for Towson on floor. They are really cruising.
Absolutely, and this Towson floor rotation was so impressive on Saturday. And here they are again, just nailing routine after routine.
Catherine O'Coin up next for Bridgeport on bars.
And Mara Tatarsili will be going next on beam for the Sharks.
So looking forward to seeing, we're so used to seeing her excellent bar work, but really excited to see her on beam as well. O'Coin underway here. Oh, just is going hit for, I like the aggressiveness that she was going for on that handstand. Just couldn't hang on to it. Nice ginger there though.
Beautiful ginger.
And again, just struggling with these handstands.
Mara does such an interesting mount off the springboard there. Really beautiful and strong.
Good recovery for O'Coin, but unfortunately will incur quite a bit of deductions.
A beautiful handstand into that series for Mara. Perfect landing.
Isabella Minervini for Towson here on floor.
And Mara does a very interesting series there. A L turn into the split jump. A bit reminiscent of elite gymnastics. Switch leap to straight jump. You could tell she was a little off, but she covered that very, very well.
You know, I love her focus on the balance beam. She just has a game face that looks like you don't want to mess with her.
Absolutely, and I absolutely love that low to the beam choreography. And the illusion right to a beat jump. And just the dismount to go for Mara. And the tucked gainer full with a hop forward. That's definitely her best beam routine that
is so
she's done
happy.
here. She looks so happy and proud.
And Minervini finishing up there for Towson on floor. Really nice work there as well. Was a little bit short on her double pike in the middle of that, but really just great power that Towson is displaying, and not seeing very many signs of endurance from having a dual meet this weekend. Joanna Chambers set to anchor for Bridgeport on bars here.
So far, so good for Joanna.
Maybe just a little shy on that last handstand, but doing that full pirouette. Oh gosh, I was just gonna say, such a difficult combination, the full pirouette into the ginger, pretty in the air.
And the fact she does it towards the end of the routine,
Yeah.
do it a little bit towards the beginning, but she's
Sure.
so good that she can do it towards the end.
Yeah, yeah, just mistimed the release a little bit there. Amy Stewart getting started here for Towson on floor.
And Ilka Juk is getting ready to get started for LIU after a great first routine for Mara Tatarsuli.
Amy Stewart, so powerful. Check out the height she gets on that 1.5, drills that landing.
And a great mount for Ilka, just straight on the beam on that back handspring. And here she comes up with her triple series. And she holds on. Almost saw that she was a little off center, but she doesn't let it phase her at all. Beautiful switch leap to the beat jump and moves right into that choreography. Great control on that very interesting attitude turn. Then I don't know if you saw her wink at her teammate at the end of the mat.
And the fact she's able to stay focused on the balance beam, it is so loud in here. I mean, with the team cheering and Coach Jay whistling, I mean, it is just so many voices from every angle, but she is not letting it phase her on the balance beam.
Absolutely no problems on that full twisting back handspring, even while Towson is cheering after their great floor rotation.
And Amy Stewart wrapped things up there for Towson. Stewart, stalwart of their floor lineup, so powerful. Exhibition here on bars for Bridgeport. Oh, and just couldn't get that full pirouette around. This is Savannah Lindley. Oh, half pirouette, excuse me. Hangs on to that.
And Ilka's able to get that gainer full dismount a little bit low on the knees, so that won't be considered a perfect dismount, but she did get the stick. In a great way to finish out that rotation that will be a little bit unfortunate for the LIU Sharks. They really had some great moments in there, but did have to count a fall. We will also be seeing a exhibition from the Sharks on beam. We'll see Taylor Doughton, who we've seen in the lineups over the last 2 seasons and earlier this season as well. So great to see that they have a 7th routine to put up here.
Towson all wrapped up on floor, still working through this bar routine for Savannah Lindley after that fall. Does that toe on into Tkachev, really cool combination, but short on that handstand, but cool. I like the elements that she has in that routine. Just, you know, struggled at the top there and a little bit on the dismount, but I like the combination Tkachev work.
Absolutely. When she cleans that routine up, it's definitely going to score well.
Absolutely.
Very unique skills. I love the placements that they are in. Definitely unique.
So So we are all wrapped up on 3 events. You're just waiting for Dot on beam.
And it looks like Ilka has matched her career high of a 9.925. The only real error I saw was on that dismount, although there were a few other moments, but she was able to keep them really, really controlled on the beam. So even though the Sharks are counting a fall, some really, really bright spots in that beam rotation with Sid Morris, Ilka Juk, and also, of course, Mara Tarsili.
Yeah, unofficial total for LIU, 48,875 on beam. So, you know, definitely very good considering some of the mistakes that you mentioned, Sam, that they've had in there.
Absolutely, and I love to see Taylor here. She does a really beautiful jump series. She has such flexibility in her back. So I'm glad we're getting to see this routine this afternoon.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
There it is.
Yeah, don't often see athletes going for those ring positions on beam.
No, because it's so difficult when the gymnasts tilt their head back, they lose sight.
And she was definitely a little bit off on that series, but was able to use her arms to keep herself straight and fight to stay on the beam. Good side aerial there. Again, a little bit off, but she really fought to stay up. This is something that Randy Lane is going to be looking for his athletes to show, that fight to stay on the beam. And she gets that dismount a little bit low in the knees, but she really got a solid landing there. She had struggled with that dismount earlier this season, and I think that may be one of the reasons we haven't seen her in a few weeks, but really strong today and a really good performance for Taylor. She looks super happy.
Yeah, so that concludes the action that we have for the 3rd rotation here for you in this quad meet. Towson leading the way, 49.225 on floor. Really nicely controlled landings, 147.425 for them overall team total. LIU drops back a bit, 146.750. Brown, 146.2. They're having an absolutely great meet, coming off 48.875 on vault. And Bridgeport had some struggles on bars, They are moving to a potentially high-scoring event for them. That is beam, have some great beam workers there. So as we conclude that the 3rd event, Sam, overall, you know, we talked about sort of some of the highs and lows of the LIU beam rotation.
Sure, so we saw some real highs. I mean, Ilka Juk in that last position with that 9.925. Beautiful, interesting, exquisite work on beam. Some of the lows, we did have 2 falls on the beam. 2 athletes came off on their series, and that's really something that LIU needs to work for, keeping those routines on the beam and being able to fight to keep those deductions as low as possible to be able to capitalize on that high scoring.
Agree. And Paris, you know, seeing Brown putting out some of those big vaults, the full twisting Yurchenkos, what are your impressions of that vault rotation?
You know, today they actually scored a new season high, so I think, you know, that says it all. They came out here and they did their job. They put up amazing vaults, 6 vaults up, and each and every one of them were big for the team.
Yeah, really nice to see them putting out that level of difficulty. And as we mentioned, teams winning or losing this meet, not as important as moving your score forward, particularly for a team like Brown who had some lower scoring meets at the beginning of the season. They do not want to count that as they move towards their NQS. So Towson really in control of this meet as they will finish up on vault. We're going to take a quick break here on ESPN Plus, and we'll be back for the last rotation of gymnastics at this LIU quad. And welcome back to Long Island University. We are here for the conclusion of this quad meet. No better way to spend a holiday weekend than watching gymnastics and getting to see these 4 teams. Really exciting because you've got kind of these two groups of, you've got the teams that are, you got LIU and Towson. They are equal rivals. Brown and Bridgeport both competing in the GEC, so always interesting to see some in-conference action as well. And we are coming to you here, Christina Chauvenet alongside Paris McGee and Sam Marshall. You see LIU there getting set for their final rotation on floor. They are trailing Towson, who are leading the heat. And Brown going to finish up on bars. We've got Bridgeport on beam. We are inside the touch warm-up period here in Pratt Recreation Center. And Paris, as we move to bars for Brown, what are you looking forward to seeing from them?
Bars is one of the events that they struggle with as a team, so I'm just looking for them just to go to the uneven bars. Don't do too much. Just focus and do what you do in the gym, which is just good routines.
Absolutely. Saw Brittany Harris giving some of those cues to her athletes in the warm-up period, kind of telling them just to stay calm, do normal. Brittany Harris, of course, you see Bridgeport warming up there. Brittany Harris, of course, the former collegiate gymnast at Oregon State, stand out there. Bridgeport, really pretty team to watch on beam. We're going to see a lot of variety in the beam lineup, some really pretty lines and split positions. Sam, what can we be looking for out of LIU here on floor?
So LIU is a great team on the floor. They had 2 athletes go 9.875 on Saturday, and I think they're going to be looking for some of those same performances. Really strong, high tumbling, crisp leaps, and good performance.
And yeah, it's going to be, LIU, one of those teams we mentioned, they're just in their 3rd season, really trying to move into that crop of teams competing for regionals. Remember, 36 teams make regionals. Currently, Towson, of these 4, the only team sitting on the inside of that 36 teams. Towson will be on vault this rotation to get a look at head coach Rand Lane. And Sam, tell us about the dedication for this event.
Absolutely. So this dedication for the 4th rotation is extremely important. LIU is dedicating this rotation to Alexis McGill Johnson, who's the current president of Planned Parenthood Federation of America. And I think we're getting started here, but I'll just say she's a long-standing champion for social and racial justice, a respected political and cultural organizer, and a tireless advocate for reproductive freedom.
Yeah, Jenna Wheats there getting Towson started on vault. We've got Jordan Street on beam here for Bridgeport.
And it looks like Katie Koopman will be getting started here on floor for the LIU Sharks, but there may be some lineup shifts, so we'll bring you that information here as we go.
Gosh, really nice backhand layout step out there. Adriana Hoffman there for Towson, that cultural Sivchenko.
And Katie Koopman getting started with that 2.5 to punch front, really hard combination pass to get started.
Over on the bars, we have Jasmine Lee for Brown getting things underway.
Snafus in that routine for Jordan Street, unfortunately, but really such a strong athlete.
And here's this big triple twist for Katie Koopman. Her team calls her Coop, and she is a strong twister on the floor.
And over on the bars, that was a good routine for Lee, who put down a good set for Brown to build off of.
A nice leap pass for Katie. I'd really like to see a little bit more elevation in the front leg on that split leap. But she finishes strong and starts the Sharks off for a great floor rotation.
Lola Sepulveda here needing to reset for Bridgeport after a tricky first routine. Another nice Rubchenko full from Lauren Bolin there for Towson.
next for Brown on the bars will be Paige. Ricker?
Cami Vitoff here for Towson in the 4th position. She's actually capable of doing a 1.5 Yurchenko. Talked to Jay Ramirez about that and said, you know, they might do that later in the season. Right now, they're really just focused on she's really high scoring on this full twisting Yurchenko, so focused on getting her to do that.
Oh, and she just comes down with on the uneven bars.
Yeah, swung that one out a bit too far, I think.
And Lauren Miller getting started here on floor for the Sharks.
And Sepulveda again on beam for Bridgeport. Huge full twisting Yurchenko from Cami Vitoff.
And it looked like Lauren may have stepped out there. It's a little bit hard for us to tell in the arena.
And Paige does stumble on that dismount. She pulled in a little too much. I almost thought she was going to clip her feet on the bar, but thankfully she is safe and okay and back on her feet.
Yeah, it looks like she's okay, so glad to see that.
And a great full to front lay for Lauren Miller on floor. Excellent control on that second pass.
Paulina Belanovsky up next for Towson.
And good leaps for Lauren there. I'd like to see a little bit more extension in the split position, but she does reach that 180. And a great double tuck for Lauren to finish out that routine. Stuck landing. Just that step back, which you can do in elite gymnastics.
Wow, huge full twisting Yurchenko for Paulina there on vault. Paulina Belanovsky for Towson on vault.
That was a huge vault.
Going to be interesting to see what they. I don't have as close of an angle as the judges do, but that was sky high.
That's a perfection.
Stuck, cold, really nice.
Beautiful lines in the air, nice and tight. I mean, you really can't get much better than that right there.
Yeah.
And in a previous meet this season, she did have one judge give her that perfect 995 score.
Yeah, really powerful athlete.
Over on the bars for Brown will be Lauren McEwen.
And a good recovery from Lola Sepulveda for Bridgeport. Kieran Ross in that 3 spot.
There's Lauren getting things underway at the bars for Brown. This event. Open shoulders, little legs up her.
Felicia Poblete getting started here for Towson on vault.
And Sid Morris getting set for LIU on floor.
A beautiful double layout dismount. She does take a step forward, but that is a great comeback routine for Brown on bars.
And pull onto the table there for Poblete in that anchor spot for Towson.
A really nice first pass for Sid. Great landing. Beautiful jumps with excellent control.
Repeating that series, see if she can get that nice aerial, which would be on beam.
And a huge smile from Sid. They're really getting into this floor routine.
Good stretch for Ross in those leaps.
And the last pass here for Sid. It was a great double tuck, and they just sort of had to take a few steps out of it. Looks like they were able to keep their heel up and stay in bounds, though, which will be very important.
You know, some hiccups there for Ross throughout that routine. Does that really difficult aerial to aerial 2-feet combination and had to repeat that to get credit. I think she did connect it.
There's Ella Powell on Brown, for Brown on bars with a huge ganger. Brown is definitely building after that fall they had in this lineup. A huge dismount, beautiful full twisting. Double tuck does take a step back, but that is a great routine from Ella for Brown.
And Paulina Belanovsky for Towson there, 9.875. I gotta say, I disagree. I think that score is too low compared to the other scores that we've seen so far. I think we should have seen that in the 9.9 range.
No, I definitely agree.
And it looks like, speaking of scores, we have a bit of a judging conference on floor about Sid Morris's routine. I don't know if that had to do with if they thought that they stepped out or something else, but the judges are currently conferencing.
Looks like we have a conference on beam as well. And I think that's likely over the connection of Kieran Ross's acrobatic series. But looks like the judges are getting set. Hannah Berry will be up next for Bridgeport on beam.
Over on bars, we have Abby Montello, who is keeping that pace for Brown. Beautiful pirouetting skill. Nice handstand. Does have a little bit of a leg separation, but again, she is swinging so well. Great open shoulder. And a huge double out to a stuck dismount.
Really nice.
That was huge for Brown on bars.
They're really good, as you say, not their strongest event, but showed some really nice lines. Remember, you have to be within 10 degrees of vertical on those handstands to not incur deduction.
And it looks like we've finished our conference here on floor, and we should be able to get going. We have Talia Felino going in that 4th spot for the LIU Sharks.
And Hannah Berry underway here for Bridgeport. Towson, the first team in the clubhouse, as it were, 196.35 for them, so another solid showing for them.
Closing things out for Brown on bars will be Asta Saliha Farrell.
And Berry going for that difficult aerial back handspring layout step out combination. Struck a little bit on her acro series, but nice stretch through those dance elements.
And here we have Talia Felino saluting to get started on floor.
Because Asta bars for Brown, she is exceptional this routine. I mean, pencil straight legs, beautiful. Oh,
Too bad.
her hands on that back salto.
Check out this dismount on beam. Something full.
A good combo pass for Talia to get started through that front tuck.
Asta is still down for Brown. We have the head coaches and the trainer over by Beth, where it just looked as if he had a little too much momentum on that back salto. And of course, he comes in.
And a nice ring jump there from Talia Felino. Would like to see a little more head release, but she really gets a nice leg up position in the back.
Yeah, so tricky to get that head release. Olivia Imbarlina here for Bridgeport. And I gotta say, I don't know what is taking the scoring so long.
And a great double pike from Talia Felino. She looks proud to finish that routine. Really happy to see that from her.
Yeah, remember with those double flipping saltos, double pikes, double backs, etc., you do get an extra 10th of bonus for ending with a double salto because it is so difficult. It's an endurance, and she did a nice job of handling that landing.
Absolutely.
Back over on the bars, we have Asta, who has now remounted. Beautiful sky high dismount, the highest of anyone in this competition. More than anything, I'm so glad that she was able to get back on her feet and finish her routine safely.
Absolutely.
Following Asta on bars will be an exhibition routine for Maya Davis. And Maya will conclude the competition for Brown.
And Amanda Liu getting set to go for the LIU Sharks on floor. I hope we'll see her double layout again today. We did see it on Saturday. It has been in and out this season, but I hope we get to see it again this afternoon.
And we talk about Julia Bedell, that kind of perfect, that combination of artistry and athleticism, and I think Amanda Liu shows those same qualities.
Absolutely. Two tiny but mighty gymnasts. They get a lot of elevation on their tumbling.
And Barlina set for her tumbling series here. Nice back handspring layout step out. Clean connection into that aerial split jump.
And here we go with Amanda Liu on floor.
Oh, just too far forward on that.
And that's, sorry about that, Christina. She got that double layout this weekend.
2 for 2.
Yep.
Amanda is another one of those gymnasts who just absolutely performs.
Yeah, I love this section of her choreography here, coming across from the corner and just getting into that dance, really hitting each of the beats of the music. Good straddle jumps there. Would like to see a little more extension through the toes, through those ankles, but good height and good position in the air. And that front tuck through the double tuck. Great landing, and she stays in bounds. On Saturday, she stepped out, but today she stayed in. A great performance for Amanda Liu on floor.
Yeah, really love to see, her. We talk about artistry, and one of the things I really want to underscore to our viewers is that artistry is not smiling all the time. Artistry is the connection that you have with the movement, the connection you have with the music, your artistic movement, and how well you are expressing yourself through dance. Anything you'd add there, Sam?
Yeah, I'd say it's just about connecting and sort of moving through all parts of your body, using your head, your face, your shoulders, your arms in every skill, and really putting on a full performance in all parts of your body.
And really exhibits that well. Speaking of artistry, Nicole Javanette on beam. Love to watch her here.
Absolutely rock solid.
Yeah, you see that in the sort of flick of her wrist and the arms down after that series, a real performance and a real ability to put all parts of her arms and chest into each of those skills.
And she is on. Really the way that she centers her torso over the beam, really sets her up for success in those skills. And we don't talk about artistic performance as much on beam as we do on floor, though I think we should.
Yeah, and I think something that she does that I find from really great beam workers is that while she may have her eyes on the beam, she keeps her chest and her chin up a little bit more.
Really nice posture.
Absolutely.
Beat to split through quarters. She is rocking this beam routine. I think she just dropped the mic there on us.
I think she did.
I love that. The confidence and the performance.
Wow, absolutely huge beam routine for Nicole Javanette. They really, I have to commend what they did on beam, because coming off, had that fluke fault from Jordan Street in that first position. Every single other gymnast in that lineup 9-7 or above, and I certainly expect we'll see that from Javanette as well.
Absolutely. And Ella Barrington here getting started on the floor. And it looks like, I think she did get the triple turn today. That is such a hard skill, and she goes for it every week. Double tuck there with a big step back, but she is able to control the landing. And I really like her style of performance on floor. We were talking on Saturday about how it's just a little bit different. It's a little bit more slow and sort of sultry, and I just really like that performance from her. Like to see that stag jump right out of the tumbling pass as well. And here she is performing as well, that same, her head, her eyes, her face, and her arms all into the movements.
This gives, and I mentioned her a little earlier in the broadcast, this gives me Svetlana Horkina's 99 World Championship floor.
Well, throwback.
The music, yes. I mean, the way she flirts with the crowd, and the music in itself, when she's out there, they should turn the music. And that's how it should be. Whoa.
We've got a 9.95 on beam there for Javanette. So well deserved.
Absolutely.
And one judge actually gave her a 10. That is huge.
Huge performance for her. And Ella Barrington finishes a great routine for LIU as well. A little bit crunched in that last layout, but she's able to keep it on her feet and make sure that they have another hit. And so that actually will be all hits for LIU on the floor as well, again on this Monday afternoon meet.
And we've got one more exhibition here on beam for Bridgeport, but let's just take a minute to congratulate Nicole Javanette, school record 9.95. And I just want to say, a lot of times Division II schools are taxed harder than Division I programs when it comes to taking deductions. There was not a bobble in that routine. She was so solid, really nice to see her appropriately rewarded there. Taking a look at this dismount, I think that might have been where the judge might have taken, because it was almost a little bounce in place, but so pretty in the air. As you mentioned, Sam, that posture throughout.
It's so well deserved. I saw her compete early in the season where she had a little mishap, and again, to see her compete so strongly here, it's big. Yeah, it means a lot to the program.
Huge for the program. Molly McElevey here wrapping things up for Bridgeport in exhibition. A little hiccup at the start of her routine, but nice dance series there. When it hangs on, those three-quarter turns are tricky, ending sideways on the beam.
Absolutely, and she's got the eyes of everybody in this gym right now. We see the Brown team is over here. They're watching her as well, and we are just getting a sense of her finishing that routine.
Good for her. Showed a lot of fight through that routine, because a couple areas that she was off kept moving. So good for them, and just an absolutely lights out performance for Bridgeport on beam. So an exciting way to wrap up this gymnastics. We are done with all of the routines here at the LIU quad. We can bring you unofficial scores here from Pratt Recreation Center. We've got a 196.350 for Towson, another really steady 196, and LIU 195.775. Didn't quite have some of the performances that we've seen from them in terms of their tip-top performance, but still another really high 195. Keep killing their program records and getting some of those top 5 program scores.
Quite unbelievable to see that they could reach that score counting a fall on beam. It is lower than that program record they set on Saturday, but only by 0.2, which shows that a lot of those other routines were able to bring up the level of scoring and really reach into those high 9.8s, 9.9s.
And Paris, tell us about Brown's performance. 194.125. Really strong for them across the board, including overcoming some adversity on uneven bars, traditionally their weakest event.
Absolutely. Today they scored higher than their season average, which is a plus. They are in that 194 range, and they were just shy of that season high that they performed last weekend. So again, they did a great job coming out here today, and they should be happy.
Exactly, and 191.8 for Bridgeport. That is a season high for Bridgeport, really capped off by their phenomenal performance on the beam. And when we look at their performance today, again, we talk about the importance not only of them getting that really high beam score, but also Paris, talk about how important it is to have a gymnast score a 995, what that does for the name recognition of the program.
Again, like you said, sometimes, as we know, the judges don't always judge on the routine, but more so the color of the leotard. And so what that means is that, again, sometimes gymnasts aren't scored or judged so fairly depending on their school. Sometimes when you go to a Division II school, you're judged a little harder than maybe going to a Division I program. So again, for her to just put down a good routine and for Bridgeport to really capitalize off of that last beam routine that they had, it was pretty huge, very huge for gymnastics as a whole, not even just for the team, but as for college women's gymnastics.
Absolutely, I completely agree. We've seen some really great gymnastics. Of course, several of these teams coming off of their a double meet weekend for them, and that is going to wrap us up for the commentary team here. And just want to say it's been an absolute pleasure to be on the mic with Paris McGee Jr., Sam Marshall. We just had a gym nerd party here this afternoon.
Absolutely.
I think we did.
So much fun. So for Sam Marshall, Paris McGee Jr., I'm Christina Chauvenet. You can catch the LIU Sharks back at home on February 26th. That coverage will also be available on ESPN+. And I'm signing off for the commentary team, our entire production crew. Thank you for watching, and good night from Long Island.
we finally pay tribute to the fourth woman we would like to recognize here today. She's made a huge impact for NCAA women's gymnastics. Jackie Port, a pioneer in NCAA gymnastics. Jackie Port was the first person ever to coach at Brown University. As head coach of the gymnastics team, she led the team to a landmark Title IX case that led all the way to the Supreme Court, stating Brown gymnastics from being dropped as a varsity sport. The national competition for the LIU Sharks will be next Sunday, February 26th at 2 p.m., hosting North Carolina State University and Temple University. The meet will be our senior class celebration. Please join us as we celebrate the first senior class of LIU Gymnastics. Ladies and gentlemen, here are today's meet results. On vault, a three-way tie for first place with a score of 9.875. From LIU, Jalea Bedminster. From LIU, Sid Morris. From Towson, Helena Lassie. On uneven bars, third place in Towson with a score of 9.85, Lauren Keenan. Second place in Towson with a score of 9.9, Grace Davenport. And the winner from LIU with a score of 9.95, Mara Jersey. On balancing, third place at LIU with a score of 9.9, Sid Morris. Second place at LIU with a score of 9.925, Leslie. And the winner from Bridgeport with a score of 9.95, Nicole Jackson. On floor, ladies and gentlemen, the three-way tie for second place with a score of 9.875 from Towson, Isabella Minervini. From Towson, Grace Davenport. And from Towson, Amy Stewart. The winner from Brown with a score of 9.9, Julia Vidal. In the all-around, third place for Bridgeport, with a score of 38.15, Kieran Ross. Second place for Bridgeport, with a score of 38.275, Lola Sepulveda. The winner from LIU, with a score of 39.275, Sid Morris. And the final team results. Fourth place with a score of 191.875, Bridgeport. Third place